I think that could really work in our favor, and especially like you're saying, people might be burnt on the VR genre by that point, and we could benefit from that. The Halo community, the Halo scene could finally see, the rise of popularity. I know we all know that it can't have.
What's going on, guys? This is Cole, aka Proximitty, bringing a brand new video today. This is actually going to be some highlights from an interview that I did with the HCS Weekly show, which recently got partnered as well with the Grassroots program. It's not the first time I appeared on the show, but I'm super happy to be back. I did a spot with Reclaimer a couple of months ago. He and I both shared the time slot, but this time it was a one-on-one interview, and I thought it went really well. It was a lot of fun to make. Also, I really like the HCS Weekly show, and I wanted to take this time to shout them out and encourage you guys to go check out the show. They have really interesting featured guests every week. Obviously, last week was myself. Here are the highlights of that. The entire interview will be linked in the description below, so if you want to peep the entire thing, I only put part of it here, just some of my favorite questions that I answered. So hope you guys enjoy this. If you do, please make sure you guys go check out the full show. Go follow their channels, follow their Twitch stream. It's really awesome. I encourage you guys to do that. Thank you guys for watching. Much love. See you guys in the next one.
Hello and welcome back to HCS Weekly. I thought, yo, this is my life. I have to go pro in Halo.
In my head, thought that was more efficient, and I guess I was right.
He was like the god. We would have to 2v1 like just to beat this guy. Like
I don't know, man. I'm reaching it. You're like, oh, see you guys later.
A lot of Halo in my life, man. It's been a fun journey.
I love it.
All right, that closes off the news segment of the show. We're going to immediately jump into our first interview. And you guys, you already got the hint in the 10-minute just highlight montage that we had coming into this. But I'm so excited to bring our first Grassroots partner onto the show. Welcome, Proximitty, to the show.
Hey, what's up, man? Thanks for having me.
How's it going, dude? Congrats on the Grassroots partnership, man. How do you feel?
Congrats back to you. I'm feeling great, man. I mean, I was super excited to get the news, and obviously it's just really cool. I mean, like, I could tell you guys why it's awesome, but I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I'm really excited about it. Yeah. I'm sure you can empathize. Yeah, well, I think it's harder and like definitely well deserved for you. You were the one where I was like, "Oh, this is a no-brainer." Like I'm expecting him to be a part of it, but you've been putting in work for such a long time with Halo, like years out, right? So even when things are kind of on a lower point right now, it's nice that you're finally getting, some of the credit that you deserve for all the hard work that you put in throughout this whole life of Halo 5 and even beyond that. So great work from you, man. But I realize, and this is something that I do with all the YouTubers, everybody that I interview, is I go back to the beginning of your channel and I see where it all started with content creation. I realize that it didn't start with that channel. This Proximitty was not your first channel. You started way before that. I saw a video on your channel of you and it was Dallas, Big Texas, and Reclaimer reacting to old videos. Tony, can you throw up a clip of this? Just what are we looking at here?
Watch this.
Oh Lord.
God, do we have audio for this? We have.
Oh my.
Okay.
I don't care about your back.
So this is. I want to talk about this for a second. This is a perfect example of like one of the.
They're reacting to it. I'm not sure how much we got.
Supposed to be like
of the.
He was supposed to be pretending his back was hurting and not just dancing in his room by himself. And I was supposed to have been like, I came in and caught him doing something embarrassing.
Yeah, like, just let people get an idea for a second.
So bad. That's
cringe a little.
It just.
Yeah.
See, you didn't get that, right?
No, I just can't believe how fucking stupid I am.
Oh, I know. I was letting everybody know they're gonna cringe. That's all.
All right. Let's go back.
Who?
Here it is again.
Spencer. What? Spencer's.
You look kind of like Luke Skywalker, man. You got like the Luke Skywalker vibe. I don't know. You got the hair and the the young Luke Skywalker.
That's all right. That's all right with me.
No idea what you're right. Yeah, and then you go on to like 2 minutes about how your jeans were too large and like.
Dude.
Okay, Tony. We've got the gist there. Okay, so what's going on there? Because that's before Proximitty. This is like some of your old YouTube stuff. What is this?
Yeah, so I really liked making videos for a very long time, and it wasn't just like my passion for gaming and making videos were initially separate, but eventually they kind of course, meshed. And really, at this time when I was making these videos, it like being a gaming YouTuber or streamer, that wasn't a thing yet. So I like making videos, and I thought, who doesn't want to be a YouTuber? That's like been a dream for a long time. So that was about 2010, then 9 years ago, I guess. And we just, we were in high school, get off school and go and, make some dumbass videos. They just weren't good. They're so, oh man, they're hard to watch now, but they're funny, at least to look back. And it's nice to see the progression and growth from that to here. So first, before we talk about things picking up, where did Proximitty come from as your name as well? Oh, okay. So that one is not actually as cool as stories. I wish it was. It's just that whenever Halo 3 was the big game and I learned about like the MLG scene and professional gaming, I just noticed that all of the pro gamers had really cool gamer tags. And so I wanted something that sounded cool because my gamer tag at the time was xcole919 because I didn't care. I just wanted to play. So I just made an account that was vacant and played. But I wanted something that sounded cool. And I saw the word proximity. I didn't even know what it meant at the time. I was just like, that's dope.
That's dope.
So I went to go make my gamer tag that, and I had to add an extra T for vacancy purposes, but now I keep it as like a stylized thing. Also, there's a giant music channel on YouTube called Proximitty that's spelled the correct way, so I think it's important to keep the 2 T's at this point. So
no, and it comes off in that fashion. I think that's good. And then it's just, the timing that you're uploading and Halo 5 just coming out, you're releasing content that people weren't fully aware of, and things just started to really pick up. I mean, overall, at one point, and you have a video on your YouTube where it talks about just kind of like a background, like the story behind Proximity, I think, and you're talking about how this is like your living, like you're full-time creating content and streaming. Like, what was the biggest highlight, would you say, of your career in content? Was it around that time?
Yeah, I think biggest highlight. I mean, that's hard to say. I think like the biggest highlight would probably be like getting into Grassroots. Like that's the biggest deal to me. But like around that time when that video was made, it was probably I think I was I did have long hair. Yeah, I think I got into straight ripping at that point. I can't remember if that exactly happened. But when that happened, that was a huge deal to me. Just being that they wanted to pick me up as somebody to represent them as a streamer and content creator, and I'd been watching straight ripping for 10 years at that point. So it was just super cool to see like something that I'd watch. And I always like to tell the story where I used to sneak out of class to go watch the montage on my jailbroken iPod in the bathrooms because like I was so into Halo at the time. I'd leave class to do that. But then actually being a part of Straight Rippin' that was really cool. And so that's probably the peak like cool moment where I felt like I really accomplished something,
Yeah. So the biggest thing is just the milestones, the recognition that you've been getting through all the hard work that you're putting in is Straight Rippin', Grassroots. These are like clear cut milestones.
Yeah. And I don't think of it like a way to like flex on people like, well, this is when I pull this off. It's like, to me, that's what makes it real. When I see the progression, like I'm working, and you always have like, as a content creator, I know you know this, like you're always looking at your own stuff and being very critical of it and questioning if it's good enough. And when you do something like that, when something cool happens, I think you feel like some gratification, some satisfaction, it really was real and it meant something. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's literally everything. It's like when a company like 343, the game that you're making content for, can look at your content and say, this is adding value to our scene, this is adding value to our game, and we're going to partner you as a result. I think, that's one of the best things that you can.
That's pretty unreal, for sure.
Yeah. No, though, because I know the PUBG one that you have is crazy. It's like 600 and something thousand, but then your most popular Halo 5 or Halo video in general is almost 100K. It's a Magnum tips video, and this is coming from a guy who really knows how to use the Magnum. You probably have one of the best Magnum shots in the game. At the time of your tips video, you had the most perfect kills in the game at the time as well. Tony, if you can throw to a couple of those nice fives that he gets, if you happen to have some, there we go. Oh baby,
I don't think there's a single 5 shot in this clip.
Yeah, there is.
Just nice overkill.
Let's go.
Nice shots regardless. Tony, do you have any 5? Oh, that was a 6 snipe though. Come on.
Let's go.
There we go.
Wait, this one's a good one, right? Oh, dude, that up flick right before you go past the wall there. There's like little things behind that, and that's why I wanted to bring this up. Is I wanted to know if you had any quick tips. And there's another 6. Oh, this is back-to-back 5 right there. One shot, dude. Nasty player right there. So what would you say about like your experience with Magnum? Tony, you can switch it off. He's still lasering people. What would you say are some of the biggest, most important things as far as having a solid Magnum shot in Halo? And this probably applies to other guns too, all the other guns.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say because there's nothing I can say that's just going to make your shot good. But I mean, like obviously refer to the video that I made. The tips video is going to be far more in depth on like what I can say. But I think the biggest thing is so for me, if I want to get good with a weapon, I'm going to use that weapon exclusively. And that means for every situation. So if you want to improve on your Magnum and you're playing like Ranked Team Slayer and you're playing with the settings where you have your assault rifle as part of your spawn kit as well, I would ignore the assault rifle. Start using the Magnum in really uncomfortable situations. If you're relying for your assault rifle up close, and then you're interested in getting into like some of the sweatier, more competitive stuff in Halo, you're not doing yourself any favors like not using the magnum up close, because when you go play HCS, that's what you're going to have to do, and it's very difficult. It's very different than just spraying someone with the AR. So like, just commit to that weapon and spend time with it. It's going to take time, but once you get like more of an understanding of the hitboxes on it, the feel of it, the aim assist ranges, that's really how you need to look at it. You need to dissect it. You need to understand everything about it. When do you lose aim assist with your hip fire? When do you lose it with your ADS? So you need to know like what's the most optimal way to shoot at people. Things like when to rescope during gunfights, stuff like that.
Right.
There's a lot of things that go into it, but yeah, spend time with it and focus on what you're doing. Think about what you're doing, and you'll start to notice things that work and things that don't work, and then you eliminate the things that don't, and you'll get better.
Yeah, and I like that idea of kind of like putting yourself in situations where you're under a lot of pressure and you're forced to adapt, and taking mental note of what you're doing, what your right stick is doing, your left stick, what you have to do to overcome these situations, and trying to apply that mindset to future gunfights as well. One of the biggest things you do really well is pacing your shot, and we saw it on that 5 in Truth. Is the last shot, you waited a split second to make sure you had the headshot and then flicked up on the right stick. I think pacing is huge, and then you talked about reticle placement as well. Those two things, I think,
for sure. And with the pacing thing, I don't like. Yes, I'm 100% pacing my shot. I don't like to call it that, because I think when you name it that, I think everybody's immediate reaction is to literally pace every shot.
Right.
And like, that's fine. You're probably not going to miss, but you do need to have a sense of urgency, because those people are shooting at you, and if they're not going to be slow, you can't be slow. So, in a situation like that one clip where I did have the nice flick on the guy, like, you have to be constantly paying attention to what's happening in the gunfight. So I knew that he had not thrusted yet, nor had I. So we're 3 shots into this fight, and he still has his thrust, meaning it's coming soon, right? Like, if you're playing somebody that's good, they're never going to just stand still the whole time. So I was just waiting for it, and once I got my 4 shot off, I knew he was going to thrust, and so that's the type of pacing. When you know that he's going to do it, get your 4 on, let him thrust. Meanwhile, he can't shoot you while he's thrusting, and then you have the time to hit that shot. So stuff like that. Pacing, that's another thing, though. You understand when you start paying attention and dissecting it, like I was saying, you'll start to pay attention to those things. Like, they haven't thrusted yet, so this is time to wait, and things like that.
Exactly, and you say it in your video as well, and I'd recommend you guys go check it out if you haven't already. It is one of the most popular videos on the channel, but it's pacing, but pacing intelligently, right? There's a system behind it. Yeah. Especially, like you said, the earlier point in the gunfight, players don't typically burn their thrust immediately. You can fire off some of those shots a little more quickly, but always having in the back of your mind, the knowledge that they could be thrusting, they could be doing a quick movement in some way or another, and you might have to slow down that last gunshot or whatever it is. But yeah, just being constantly aware of the situation at hand and adapting. What are some of the biggest changes, improvements that you would like to see in the Halo franchise with Halo Infinite specifically, like coming like over from 3 and 5, some of the bigger changes, improvements?
Obviously, I would like to see the most consistent connection we could possibly have. That would be nice. Online is online. There's always going to be issues, but I'd like to have a good online experience if I can. I think, honestly, to me, the biggest thing is they need to get the ranking system done right, and they need to have good playlists for us to play. I think if that's the case, people will stay interested. And one of the biggest things is the gunplay needs to be satisfying. That is one of this, like, I think that's one of the hardest things, kind of an intangible for developers to pull off. But if they do, I think that's one of the best things for a game. Just having the core game be interesting to like play, it's satisfying getting kills. People will stay on it. They'll just want to keep doing it. Like the Halo 5 Magnum, I think it's done so well. They did such a good job with it. It's hard to use. It feels good to use, and getting that perfect kill is the best feeling every time. Just like something like that can keep you on a game for a very long time, just because it's fun.
Yeah, and that's actually one of the biggest things I hear from a lot of Halo pros, content creators, just gunplay being satisfying. So whatever they got to do to make those guns just, like you said, a perfect 5 with a pistol or a 4-shot with a BR, something like that is just like, and the 4-shot with the BR is just so exclusively Halo. There's like nothing else that quite feels that way. So if they can somehow nail that, I think that's huge. But one of the biggest things, like you said, was the ranking and the playlists as well, having a full content-rich game and a ranking system that incentivizes that you keep playing, you keep grinding, and it gives you enough rewards and feedback, I guess, going forward. I think that's going to be huge, because we're all going to be grinding this game, hopefully for a long time, and hopefully we're going to have consistent updates and kind of like a service as it goes through to keep things fresh. Reclaimer, what is Proximitty's opinion on a Halo BR Battle Royale?
Okay, so my opinion on this is kind of my opinion on like every BR. When people hear a BR being announced, the common reaction is to freak out and be like, "Oh my god, we have so many already." which like you're not wrong. That's fair. But to me, it's like if the game's good, like in the case of Apex, let's come in here and just mode over Fortnite and everything. Yeah, I mean, like if the game's good, which it's a lot of fun, I'm loving it. You know, if the game's good, great. If it's not, great. Then it'll just die off like the rest. So if I understand the perspective of like, well, I don't want them to be spending their time and money and effort on a BR when they should be focusing on campaign, multiplayer, whatever it is. From the Halo fans' perspective, but to me, if it's fun, great. If it's not, okay, I just won't play it. You know, so even in the case like when Black Ops 4 came out, Blackout was fun, but honestly, I just had more fun playing the regular multiplayer. Right. So that's what I did. You know, so like. I'm gonna play what is fun. That's like my opinion. If it's enjoyable, great. If not, okay. So I don't think people should freak out about it though if they do it. I would understand why they would do it. Like it's just a huge trend in gaming, and they're already a game that's a shooter. It has a huge name. Halo's a legendary name, whether or not we're in the best state of the franchise that we've been in the past. Like it doesn't matter. It's still Halo, and people know that. So if they hear about Halo BR, guarantee a lot of people are going to go check it out at the very least.
Like the franchise foundationally, like the lore, everything involved in Halo, there's so much to work with if you were to make a battle royale. So it's so possible, and it could be so amazing. And yeah, like if it works out and it's good, like you said, we're going to play it. It's going to be awesome. There is one thing interesting about Halo though, and how it kind of separates itself, because it is an arena shooter, right? Like arena shooters are something that we're seeing a lot less of these days now that we have so many BRs in the market. And I've been seeing people like Summit1G tweeting saying, I miss like a good old 5v5, 4v4 arena shooter. Like I hope Halo Infinite is on PC. And he said that has like 15K likes on Twitter. So, I mean, maybe by the time Halo comes around, we're kind of burnt out of BRs, and we're looking forward to something like, more traditional 4v4, 5v5, getting somebody like Summit1G hopping on day one and playing on PC. I mean, like Halo could bring things back. I don't know.
Stars are aligning for that exact thing. I think you look at the other example too with Apex. Apex Legends has popped off, and the Titanfall 2 numbers, of course, made by the same developer. This would be the parallel of like Infinite being Titanfall 2 and then the BR being Apex. So if the Halo BR were to pop off and do really well, people are going to start liking that style and that gameplay, and then they're going to want to play regular multiplayer, and that's when they're going to come to like the regular multiplayer side of Infinite, and then they'd probably fall in love with it because we all did for the same reason. It's just nothing. It's not like anything else. The gameplay, the gunfights, it's all different, and it's so much fun. So like that, it's Halo. I think that could really work in our favor, and especially like you're saying, people might be burnt on the VR genre by that point, and we could benefit from that. The Halo community, the Halo scene could finally see, the rise of popularity. I know we all know that it can't have. So who knows?
I expect to see you there when that happens.
Oh, for sure.
The stars are aligning is a really good way to kind of close things. I think there's great opportunity here. Hopefully 343 and Halo Infinite can capitalize on that. We could have an amazing Halo title, and just, things can explode from there. The players are ready for a new Halo. It's just, are we going to, hit a home run or not? Hopefully that happens. But thank you so much, Proximitty, for coming on today.
Really appreciate you asking me on here again, Alex. It was a lot of fun, man. Anytime, man. I love doing this show, so awesome. I'll come back anytime you want me to. And appreciate you guys tuning in and having me. Thank you guys.
Happy to have you. Thank you for coming on.